It's the one and only Optobotomist committed with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible contributions from all of my Optobotomist Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Masters of the Universe Deluxe figure set of the evil Master of Power Suction, Leech, a member of the evil Horde, and this is one I'm super excited about. For the package, as you can see, I mentioned it is a deluxe figure, which means it comes with a lot more accessories, which also means that the package is larger. As you can see, the actual card is bigger than the standard one. Of course, you got that gorgeous art with the Masters of the Universe logo there in the background, as well as a very 80s inspired cartoon image of Leech right up there in the corner. One other thing to note, I don't know if I've reviewed a Origins figure recently that has had this, but you can see that this year we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Masters of the Universe, which is super excited as that's, I believe, actually coming up at the end of this month. But you can see you also have the little retro play blast right there on that side, this side here, that talks about that it actually does really stick to smooth surfaces, which again is a great throwback to that original vintage toy. And being a deluxe figure, I mentioned he comes with extra accessories. In this case, he comes with an extra pair of hands, his Horde crossbow, and an alternate head sculpt. When you come around to the back of the package, you can see other figures that are currently out there, coming out, all that stuff. As for the He-Man and Skeletor, I'm really not interested in those, nor am I really interested in Pighead. But Snoutspout, Mantenna, and of course Leech are ones that were high up on my list. Also, the new vehicle in the line, the Roton, which I have on the way, I'm super excited about. And then you can see up here, gorgeous art. Again, very much inspired by some of those original designs and illustrations that were on packages in the day. With Leech fighting, I think that's Tongue Lasher? One of the Snake Men, which I'm really excited that they're going to be going into that. And then, of course, you've got the instructions on how to stick them to a smooth surface. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Leech open up and out of his packaging. And starting off first, I don't really cover these a ton, but he does come with this mini comic. You can see it's the Night of the Leech. Then as you flip through, you got several other characters in there like Stratos. Of course, you got Buzz-Off, Leech, Hordak, obviously right there. You have Snoutspout, who saves the day by blasting everybody with his water, which is super fun. And then, of course, you got the cross sale here on the back with the different figures that are currently out here. Like I said, these were the main ones that I was really interested in. The 2000X He-Man and Skeletor aren't bad figures. I just prefer that more vintage look, and because these are more modern takes on the characters, it just doesn't work well with me. And then, of course, the Roton, which I'm super excited about. I also don't really mention this, but you also do get this paper on here that shows that, much like the regular figures, you can separate this guy into different components. So you can do some kind of mixing and matching of parts. You can remove his head, his arms, you can separate his torso, and then the lower section here of his legs. I haven't done this, shown these off here in a while. A lot of times I don't because the comics are usually identical throughout the entire wave. They don't change. So when I do the review of Snoutspout, it'll probably be the exact same comic book. So maybe I'll just show this off one time, but then I also don't show this off, which really is kind of an important little thing, just to kind of show you what you can do with the figure itself. And as I said, this is a deluxe figure set, so you do get some extra hands. You can see that the suction cups are on right out of the package. And as it is right here, it is a very vintage toy inspired look for this figure. These hands here, though, give you just regular fingers. There are no suction cups, obviously, on it. I want to say a couple times we saw him walking around with just regular hands, and then he would go around and like open up his hand, and then the little suction cups would pop up. So this is a real nice touch. Now, one thing that's different is that these ones aren't articulated. This, though, does have the hinge on there, which does give a little bit more articulation just to the overall figure. I think that design choice was made because these are a softer rubbery material, And I don't think they really could have easily put that hinge in there to kind of facilitate that articulation on that setup, but I do like that we have this here. You also do get the crossbow, which we've seen a couple other times with the Horde figures. You had this little, not really spring, but this tension right here with the harder plastic that you bring that up just like so, and then you can always just pop it and it springs back out, which, you know, simple, and I mean, doesn't really do much. It doesn't shoot anything, obviously, and then you can see you have like a little beast head here, which is cool. And of course, as I said, this is more designed to replicate that vintage toy, but this head here kind of replicates it. You can kind of see what it's kind of trying to do here with this suction cup thing, but that's that gimmick for that toy. This is more designed to look like how he appeared in the cartoon. Great detail on this. Coming in to take a closer look, getting that guy out of the way. Gorgeous detail in there. You can even see, like, on the inside, a little bit of a suction style inner piece, I guess, like down by his throat. You have the teeth, wicked cool looking eyes, great texture on here as well. You can see a lot of nice molded in details, and then he's got his ears there. So again, you can kind of see what they were going for in terms of what they designed here, but you now have a full open mouth. And again, that's a lot more reminiscent of how he really did look in the cartoon. He didn't have a mouth thing. He had the hands and he had the feet. And you do have that here as well. So again, just swapping that off, you can pop that off. It's just that standard ball joint, and you can put that on there just like that. And now again, you have a little bit more of a cartoon representation of him, which I think is fantastic. I really, really do. I love that little bit. And this deluxe price point allows you to have things like that. But overall, this is a great figure. He is super fun. He is super, super detailed, and really does give you that full-on vintage feel. Now, in terms of the action feature, which really isn't, I guess, an action, but it's the suction cup part about him, this is super, super fun. And it does work really well. Now, I am bringing it about. This is the only thing that I have here with a fairly smooth, flat surface. It's my box for the factory entertainment, I think, medical set that I got. I don't know. But you can see, just in terms of the overall look, you can take his hand. That is going to suction on there extraordinarily well. I mean, that is really cool. And that's not coming off easily. But now what you have are these little pull tabs here that you just pull away, and it flops around. You can also do that with his feet. You can sit there and put that on there. Great suction on that. Coming up so that we can see that a little bit better. Well, push it down. Great, great suction. Now, one thing that's interesting that actually goes on there really well is that in the original vintage toy, his mouth had a little hole section on there, and then you had a button here in the back that would release that. You don't need that now. That just super, super cool. And you can really get, like, the way that this is positioned, you can really get him extraordinarily stuck on here. He's, like, totally stuck. You got the arms attached, the head. I mean, you could probably even do the feet if you, oh, yeah, if you really wanted to. You can get those feet up on there, too. I mean, he is super suctioned on there. And again, like I said, in the original vintage toy, you would push a button, which would release like a little air thing, and it would go, and that it would pop off. So super amazing action feature, I guess. But again, it's not really much of an action feature because it's just kind of doing that suction cup sort of thing. So I love the way that works. Well, he does have a tendency to kind of fall over. You do have to be kind of creative with his feet, mostly just because you have this rubbery material that does kind of give him a little bit of, I mean, as you can move it, it doesn't have a solid thing that it's touching, so it tends to want to kind of rock a little bit just because this is softer. So you can still get him to stand pretty decently, but as you can see, in the more standard vintage stance for him, you do have his knees kind of bent. His arms are going to be bent up like that. But of course, you can straighten him out and get a better stand for him. But that is such a great toy. I'm absolutely loving this guy. First articulation, as you can see, the head is on a ball joint, so you do get a pretty good range of motion with that, which is really quite impressive. Come down to the shoulders, that's the same. The elbows are the same. You have the rotation and everything. Now, this is what I was talking about, where this just rotates, and you can even see on the back here, pulling that off. This is that post. This is not, I don't think it's articulated. I'm looking really close. It doesn't look like it is, and I'm not going to force anything. But I do love how you have the sculpted in fingers here in the back. That's really a very cool touch. And then you just put that right back in. So it is mostly just a peg there, and then you can get his hand in the right configuration. So a lot of times this is how his hands really looked. Like I said, I want to say that I've seen them where they've been like that, but the articulation is on this, not on this. Now, you do have a entirely new torso. This is really nice to see, but it does have a very hollow feel, and shout out to Pixel Dan, who is one of the best at doing these Masters of the Universe reviews. He did mention that he feels that the hollowness and subsequent lightness of the figure is done to facilitate that suction sort of thing and have that really work well. And I do gotta agree with him. I think that is a real good reason why they would have made the torso a little bit more hollow, but it still looks fantastic. One thing to note, though, is that there is a color difference here. You can see this is a darker green than the rest of his body. It's not too terribly bad, except right up around here where it kind of looks like that's his body. This, from this little ridge section down, this all looks like it would be armor for him, except this little section right up here. But you kind of hide that with his big suction mouth thingy there, so that's not too terribly bad. I'm trying to think, other than Hordak, I don't think we've gotten any other Horde figures. There are a couple other ones that are out, Mantena is there, which I have him. I'm trying to think, I don't know if they've done any other Horde figures. Nothing's coming to mind. So I really like what they're doing with this. And I think that if they continue on and give us more Horde figures, that we're in for a treat. I really think so. As for the crossbow, you do have to use it. Well, I wonder if you probably could just use this, because it just kind of clips around. I mean, that's going to bend that. So, yeah, you could, but it's probably better to use the regular one. All in all, though, a great figure. Such a fun figure. I really haven't decided how I'm going to display him, because he does have more of a full-on cartoon look with this than with the other head, but the other head is more vintage. So, that is lifting that whole thing. Oh man, there's a bunch of stuff underneath here. Oh, that's fun. But you can see, that extraordinarily suction-y. But I really am quite happy with this guy. I think that they did a terrific job. So simple. So simple in terms of what they're doing with this guy, that it just makes him a very fun figure to have. If you are collecting these, this is definitely a must-have. You do see that you do have to be creative, though, when you're kind of trying to get his feet to work. But you can do it. So there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Masters of the Universe Origins evil member of the Horde, Leech. Now, he, as well as a lot of those other figures that I was showing on the back of the package, are currently available and in stores now. So if you are looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. Or you can do the real simple thing and go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or even Entertainment Earth. And if you click on my link down in the video description, in addition to a lot of times them running deals on free shipping, because you're clicking on my link, you'll be able to save 10% off of everything that's in stock. If you're not able to support the channel by becoming a channel member, clicking on things like those links in the video description also can really help support the channel. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.